Hey everyone, Thanksgiving is almost on us here, and we have a lot to be grateful for. Looking back on 2025, well, it was quite a year, and to come this time of year, we're filled with gratitude for well, some very good fortune, some very challenging times. In the next few minutes here, we're gonna kind of delve into a few things that happened this summer, kind of centered around some of the wildfires that, well, we probably sent smoke down your way, and at Kississing, we were in the middle of it, you know. I remember the day that I actually was flying and I called in kind of the main and first fire that threatened us at Kississing, and it was at the south end of a massive stand of timber. I've flown over the spot for years and thought, wow, we'd be a little vulnerable if we ever had the wrong combination of things happen here. And it started in May, and northern Manitoba was just a tinderbox and it sunk in that, looking at a really hot forecast, that wow, we could really be in for something here. When we saw that fire start to advance towards the lodge, within about 5-6 miles of the lodge, advancing on about a 3/4 of a mile front, with the forecast, we could kind of see the writing on the wall there. In a matter of about a day and a half, we made the call to evacuate the lodge completely, and we flew everybody out, and we started calling, the first week at Kississing and saying, hey, we've got another lodge at Grass River. Maybe this would be a good thing. Maybe this will settle down in a week or two here, but if you don't want to come, that's fine. But if you'd like to come, we'd happy to have you at Grass River. So the first few guests that came up this summer that were supposed to go to Kississing wound up going to Grass River. And in the meantime, we were kind of all day by day, then hour by hour, as it got a little bit closer, and we could see that this is not going to stop. And in a matter of about a day and a half, we made the call to evacuate the lodge completely. Well, Kississing holds a really, really near and dear place with Juanita and myself and our family, where Juanita and I kind of met and started our life together, got engaged there at the lodge. 3 of our 4 daughters were born in the summertime while we were at the lodge, and quickly evacuated to Flin Flon. The years following, the girls basically raised on the island, with the rest of the staff, running, popping to the fridges and mopping floors and short lunch boxes and growing up with each other there. And you look back, and 30 plus years later, it's like, oh my gosh, this is more than home for us. This is where we've hosted hundreds and hundreds of friends and family and created so many memories, until you're in a situation where we could lose this all. It hits home. It really hits home pretty hard, and it's the birthplace of everything we've done kind of in our life and businesses. On the last flight that I flew the last staff out, I think Juanita was on that plane, and I remember flying past the head of the fire, which was now about maybe a mile and a half away from the lodge. And my heart just sank. This was 3/4 of a mile wide, flames shooting 150 to 250 feet in the air and advancing very quickly. And by the time I got back, I landed in Flin Flon. 2 of our most trusted, Jaron and Dennis, were at the lodge. They were calling me and they were saying, we're supposed to get out of here. The RCMP had come to see us. And I remember turning to Juanita and I said, I got to go back to the lodge. I hopped back in an airplane, I flew back in, and I flew right over top of the fire office, and they knew there I go. I'm going back into the lodge, and I'm gonna be with the guys there. And they called me and they said, okay, we understand what you're doing, and we wish you well. And I said, we have a plan, we're good here. I told them what we were gonna do, and they supported us. They had brought us pumps already. We had set up sprinklers all over the island, and we had pumps running for about 3 days already. And I remember going back in there, tying the plane up to the dock, and that eeriness, you see the smoke billowing, and you can feel the roar of the fire getting closer, and I tell you, there was times we were scared. We did not know if this was a good idea or not, and we had boats lined up right there. It would take about 3 seconds to run to hit a boat, untie the ropes, and just bail out of there, and it almost came to that a couple times. When the fire rolled in closer, it got within about a 1/4 mile of the lodge, and we could hear the roar, you could hear the rumble, and we were getting ready to, as the head of the fire was coming close to the lodge, we were on a knife edge, getting ready to hit the bolts, because in hindsight, If the head of the fire would have hit the lodge directly, all the sprinklers, we would have lost the island for sure, no doubt. As the shoreline to the south of the lodge directed the fire, if you look at a map where the lodge sits, it came straight along the shoreline to the south of the lodge, and then where the lodge sits, it's just a slight dog leg, and the fire continued to go in a straight line. And as that fire roared by, and we're like, is this possibly going to miss us? You know, and Dennis turns to me and he goes, you know, Curt, if this fire does not hit us right now, and we're standing on the docks getting ready to bail and stomping out little small spot fires on the island, he says, if this fire misses us, there's something to this Kississing luck. He says, you know, if things roll, because this is crazy. What's, you know, that how this fire missed the lodge by about 300 yards. And I mean, we saw it go across water like it was going across a grass meadow. And we were kind of standing there dumbfounded, just putting out some sparks. Now, it wasn't over. There's more to it yet. But as the head of the fire passed by us, again, if that would have hit us, if we'd have been directly in that line, you know, the lodge wouldn't be here today. We stayed on the island that whole night, that whole first night. The head of the fire passed by the lodge at about 8 o'clock in the evening, and we could hear it roaring and rumbling, and we totally didn't have our heads around what was going on. Between about 5:30 and 8, we thought we were sitting on a knife edge, ready to leave, you know. We stayed up all night, kept the pumps running, slept a little bit in shifts a little bit, and it wasn't until maybe the morning when things cooled off just a little bit. We went on more boat rides, and we realized how the fire had kind of missed us, but it had continued onto the north end of the lake. In the days following the head of the fire passing by, and then 3 days later, almost losing the island again, there was other fires brewing around Flin Flon, and Flin Flon hadn't been evacuated yet, but there were fires threatening. There was no break in the heat, and there was bad winds, you know, bad winds from bad directions, and so, you know, obviously we have with the water base in Channing, where we serve all the outpost camps and have hangars, and where the aviation company is based. We still had a number of aircraft that hadn't been released yet, and then fires just took a bad turn, and Flin Flon became very threatened very quickly. And in a matter of a half a day, they called an evacuation order in Flin Flon. At one point, I was down in Winnipeg, and I think at 1 o'clock in the morning, I had a phone call, and it was the manager of the Flin Flon airport. And they said, well, we think the airport's going to burn tonight. Will the otters in your planes fare better inside your hangar? Will the hangar burn, or should we move them out into the apron? Will the embers get them on the apron? And it's like, do you want to die by electric chair, or do you want to die by firing squad? You know, and you, not to joke about that, but I don't know. What do you think? At 1 in the morning, we're having the fire's an eighth of a mile away right now, and we don't think anything's going to be standing here. And in about a couple more hours, and I said, well, let's split the difference, put half of them on the apron, leave half of them in the hangar, and maybe we have something left. And there was panic. They were pulling airplanes all over the place, and with level heads, you know, trying to make the best decisions they could, you know. Of course, in the meantime, you have fire departments from all over Manitoba sending trucks up and sending crews up, and, you know, 2 trucks from this town and 2 trucks from this town and a truck from over here. And at the end of the day, like 400 firefighters, volunteer firefighters, and from fire departments from small communities all over Manitoba, from of course from Flin Flon and Creighton, Air Beach to Morden, Plum Coulee, and that sent trucks up, sent firefighters up. We can talk about this a little bit in hindsight and how fortunate we were, but I had very, 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 very close friends that lost their home, you know. Guys that borrowed me their pumps, and I gave them back, and why did the pumps held for us but didn't hold for my friend, you know, so I mean, I can tell a story of how Kississing is still standing, you know, but there was plenty of devastation where people lost their homes, you know, and the city of Flin Flon itself, the airport, and the majority of the area where most of the homes was totally saved. The city was totally saved due to a tremendous effort by local firefighters, volunteer fire departments, and at the last minute, when probably maybe some of the resources were exhausted, some Chinook helicopters came in from Oregon and just put on a display and probably saved the Flin Flon airport. What's amazing is after a fire goes through like that and the smoke clears, it's amazing within within weeks, you see green sprouting up, you know. A month later, you see purple fireweed coming up, you know. Before the end of the summer, you start to see the ground, which for a month is charred black, and that black creates a lot of heat, and it becomes an oven and percolates for growth, you know. And you get some rains, you get some heavy rains, and with that black ground, and suddenly all the ground almost turns green right away, you know. It's amazing the renewal process of how this is a part of nature's way of renewing itself. And for me, probably for my family, I would say it's I don't know, I just can't say enough how fortunate we count ourselves that we're still standing, that we can still host. We've hosted thousands of people at Kississing over the years. You know, generations of people at Kississing holds a very, very special place in people's heart, you know. And I'm as thankful as I've ever been. Halfway through the summer when we were, you know, I'd talk with Alana and talk with the team and talk with the family and talk with all the, I'd say, I promise you guys, the best is yet to come. We have not seen our best days, the best is yet to come here. You really believe that, you know. Back in 2020, we obviously, I think the first full year of COVID, we launched a Cast It Forward, something we called Cast It Forward, where we asked people to nominate people in their world, in their space, that have done something during that very challenging time that you don't hear about in the news. That is a good news thing. And we were absolutely overwhelmed with nominations from around Canada, around the US, and we gave away a bunch of fishing trips and a couple fishing trips, you know. And every fall following the US Thanksgiving, we would have a Cast Forward that would have, you know, sometimes different focuses, from volunteerism to you know, people displaced from war. And so this year during the fires, I thought, man, if we make it through this, I know what our Cast Forward is going to be this year. I think there was 400 firefighters that came to Flin Flon from surrounding communities all over Manitoba, that sent a truck up, sent 2 trucks up, sent a half a dozen guys up, and guys worked themselves, did not sleep. And I thought, if we get out of this, if we're still standing, here's our Cast It Forward program for the initiative for this next year. And I started telling people about it. I'd tell certain people we're going to do something for the firefighters this next year, and so I told people so I couldn't walk it back, you know. And because you forget, it seems you get away from these crises and you forget, you know. In this next summer, we're going to take 1 week at the lodge. And we're not, it's blocked out already, you know. I'm sorry, but you can't book a trip during that week. And we're inviting, there's going to be details coming yet, but from the communities and from firefighters that took time off and left their homes and their families to come fight the fires in Flin Flon, to this men and women that were responsible for saving the town, for saving homes, saving businesses, the airports. We're just going to block out a week this year. About 30 people we're going to host at the lodge, you know, and it's going to be great. We're going to come up with some details on the nomination process. We're already in the process of contacting the fire chiefs in these communities for people that enjoy what we do at Kississing. Phenomenal fly and fishing at a world-class fishing lodge. Folks, you're gonna receive the same treatment that discerning travelers from around the world come to Kississing to appreciate, you know. And so we look forward to this, and we're gonna pull out all the stops and show you an amazing time Kississing style as a thank you for your efforts. I'm really looking forward to this year. I think it's going to be our best Cast It Forward ever. And you know, you get late in the year and you think, oh, maybe we didn't have a very good year. We lost a lot of this and lost a lot of that. Nope. This is happening, and not for a couple people. We just want to take 1 week this year and honor you folks and of course we don't be able to honor everybody. Just our way of saying thank you. I could spend another week talking about all the other challenges through our aviation companies, challenges we had at Grass River with fires and access, but it's behind us. We had a phenomenal second half of the year. It was so great to see so many of you visit us later in July and August and through September. You know, it was a season to remember, but it's a season to put behind us, and we hang on to that promise, and we know that the best is yet to come. And from our family, Renita and I, to yours, we wish you an amazing Thanksgiving. Seize the day and count our blessings. Thank you very much.